Bonsoir, mes amis. Welcome to another episode of Europa by Night. This evening we'll continue off from the other scene in which Jagtier had become alerted to a distressing situation with respects to the bulk of his pack and possible compromises in security. He had ditched the cell phones that he had. He had left a voicemail to get Abigail to meet him back at the park. And he had actually even returned after staying one night at a flop house far away from any existing havens. He checked and saw that Omar was still at the location that he had set up with Cerveni, and at that point he will tell Cerveni it is important for him to come with.
And Cerveni will listen.
So I've got a meeting with the ductus of the other pack, and this is going to be an important conversation for us. Uh, this individual was Khalid's ghoul who just arrived. Um, he does not know where Khalid is, and I've not been able to find out when Khalid has gone missing, but he left his cell phone behind at our apartment haven,
The old one
and
or the new one?
the new one. So he had arrived after I told him where it was. He had left his cell phone behind, but somebody else had gone through his contact list after he had left his cell phone. And it was not Omar, because I pillaged his mind to find out what all he experienced upon arriving in Monaco, and he had nothing to do with Khalid's disappearance.
Hmm.
So we need to find out what the other pack is aware of and what they've been up to, and if they have suffered any disappearances, because right now 3 members of my pack are MIA. That
That is
coupled
not
with the
good.
no, it's not good. That coupled with the fact that our first safe house was compromised even before we landed, somebody is very well informed in this city, more so than we were anticipating.
Jebeno krvavo. Do you think there may be a traitor?
The thought has crossed my mind. I don't believe it would have been any of us summoned, but I don't know the Crimpies from Sardinia well enough to know if any of them may have had reason to sabotage our plans.
Jagtier, are you guys already over there?
We're making our way over there.
Okay, let me know when you get there, okay? So
Yeah,
that I
for
can bring
sure.
Abby in. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And actually, yeah, we'll probably both be in a little bit of thought as we are on our way there. And yeah, there's probably a chance Abigail is at the park before we get there, as I would have done a little bit more running around at the beginning of the night prior to coming to meet. You had said Erica, your previous hunting experience at the park, that it wasn't very heavily populated?
No, no, it wasn't very heavily populated. There were a decent amount of animals around in the area. And the beautiful view of the water.
Okay. So as you see us approaching, is there a spot where we would be able to get some fairly good privacy in talking?
Um, Abby personally didn't stray too far off from the area and where you guys were sitting because she attempted the whole animalism thing and found out that owls are dicks. So she just kind of said, fuck this shit, dude, I'm going back to the city and doing what works. So she ended up going back to a club to hunt. So
Okay.
I would say roll something, just roll a fate dice to see if we can find a secure location,
Okay.
or roll
Well,
perception,
actually,
right?
as we walk in and I can see a figure standing alone that I am going to assume is you, I'll turn to Cerveni. Can you find a private locale for us to have this conversation?
Abigail would actually be sitting on the bench that you guys that Jagtier and her had sat previously. Just because you
Okay.
said the same spot and she doesn't want to veer off from the location, so she'll be at the exact location
Excellent.
you last were.
Okay. So Blas, would Cerveni be able to do a perception stealth to try to find a spot where we can hole up as I head over to get Abigail?
Right, perception style. That's at +1 difficulty then. Mm, and that means that it's a fail. It's not a botch. It's a fail.
Okay. Well then.
Couldn't find anything good.
All right. Well, I'm sure that the park isn't really as wild and crazy as some of the ones over here. So, yeah, I'll walk up to Abigail and I'll be approaching cautiously just because I'm not exactly sure how she is presenting herself, if I'm going to recognize her without a doubt.
Yeah, you would recognize her without a doubt. She's not rocking a burqa at the moment. You know, she'll probably be, hood pulled down because she's not in the city. She'll probably have a small backpack with the burqa stuffed in it for when she wants to go back to Monaco. But, she'll be standing there with, the camouflage pants, the leather MC, hood pulled up over her head.
Bonsoir.
Abigail will rise. So, head tilt. Problem with phones.
Yes. He'll look up and he'll see Cerveni not really finding anything, so I'll motion for him to approach as well.
Cerveni approaches.
Do you know where all of your packmates are, Abigail?
Well, first, please, if you would, introduce me to your friend.
Yes. This is Cerveni, another sent ahead to help prepare for our arrival.
In lieu of the missing people, I will admit I have noticed a few of mine not around since coming.
Yes. I've
And
recently lost track of a few.
Do you mind if I ask who?
To be honest, Khalid and the other two. And
Abby's head will rise and lock eyes with yours as her hood like shows and reveals her whole face. Colette is missing.
Yes. Recently, too, because he had summoned his ghoul to join him from Sardinia, and his ghoul was here for 24 hours when I came across, and Khalid had not contacted him. Not only that, but I found Khalid's cell phone, and somebody had gone through his contact list.
Mm.
That happened
Before, please do me the interruption before we continue this conversation. Shall we walk and maybe find a better location than right here? I know there aren't very many eyes in the sky at the moment, but we are meeting here for a second time. It might be wise to keep it moving.
Yes, for certainty.
I agree.
Sorry to cut you off, Sir Venny. And Abigail will start walking along the edge of the water. She'll actually get pretty close as she can, towards the edge, and, you know, hope that you guys will follow along with her.
Yeah, I will.
Yes, sir.
My apologies for cutting you off. Just before we got into any more depth of the conversation, I wanted to make sure there were no eyes or ears, and moving is a way for us to keep an eye on anything that might be moving along to our same pattern, if you catch my drift.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was just asking if the phone was looked through in the apartment that we hired.
Well, I managed to view the footage, and somehow the phone ended up in our apartment after I left without anybody being seen going in or out of the room.
Did you see the door open or close?
No. I couldn't see any evidence of the video being tampered, but that doesn't mean that it hadn't been tampered with. I did
Of course.
pillage the mind of the attendant that we spoke to and saw no evidence of anybody removing the memories from his mind. So he was not aware of anybody that had came by. Or they didn't send their ghouls to do their dirty work.
question. Seeing as we were all on the smarter side and acquired burner phones, how many contacts did he really have in there? Were they important? Or was Khaled not the brightest bulb in the bunch when he put all of his contacts into a burner phone?
He had the pack, our pack. He did not have any of Legio Mortis, and not any of your phones from arriving here either.
Well, besides us, we do know that Brother Khaled had contacts and allies of the sort. Were those compromised as well?
Those I couldn't really suss out because I didn't know exactly what contacts were referring to what. I know they went through his contact list, and he had our whole pack on that contact list. And I am the only member of the pack that is accounted for right now.
Oh, this is some fucking serious shit right now, because if you're the only one of your pack, and just before we left, you were full. Question, okay, because I know I had this problem. When we left Sardinia, and I counted the boxes for my pack and for your pack, I counted one short. I could not find Brother Solomon from whence we got here. I don't even think he's left Sardinia. I have not been able to get in contact with him. I fear that the problems that stirred the pot with Tomas and Oxentios might have sent Solomon on a new walkabout to find himself and replace himself in Cain's eyes.
What
Yes,
are
that's
you
possible.
talking about?
Her pack priest was not in good graces with those that arranged this crusade.
You think there's a possibility that this crusade was intended to get rid of people at the very beginning?
It was one of the options given during the truth game as Abigail looks over at Jagtier and gives a little giggle.
Yes. The thing I'm more curious about now, though, is whether somebody has specific interest in preventing Monaco from being reclaimed. We know that Sami's family is looking to get their seat of power back. If they have enemies that are interested in preventing that from happening, it's possible they may have allowed our covers to be compromised.
Well, it certainly does bother me to the core knowing that you are the only one left of your pack.
Well, the reason I unfortunately am thinking inward and not outward is simply because of those who have, to my knowledge, risked exposing ourselves to the enemy are the ones that are left. You and Bastian and I encountered individuals that are no doubt linked with our Camarilla enemy in the city, and yet we're the only ones that haven't been made yet.
Interesting.
You would think it would be the other way around.
Yes, exactly. I was expecting them to come for us.
No, because
And
they
the
still
fact-
need us. They still need us. We are still an asset. They are using us against ourselves, and we don't even realize it.
Perhaps.
They still are
Right
finding
now-
use in us, which is why they're hoping that we never figure it out.
Who has
Right
any
now-
use for us?
We need to assume they know
When you say
everything.
they have a use for us, who do you have in mind?
Well, if you guys are going to bring the paranoia game into this, you can say whoever you'd like is they to have a use for us. I am just trying to think outside of the box to see if I could make more sense of what it is you guys think is going on. I have lost Brother Solomon, and Brother Zechariah seems to be MIA at the moment. But even he I have not seen yet since landing here. Bastian has been a great asset. But I do fear that this compromising on your phone will only lead to compromising on our part. And if you specifically Jagtier, are the only one that seems to be left, and there's a possibility that your safe haven could be at risk, well, I think it might be wise if we figure out a way to almost, and Abigail will, a large smile will appear on her face. I think you should possibly stay with Bastian and I, but first I will need to frisk you to see if there are any bugs of the like. And she will look over at Cervini and say the same. We wouldn't want a compromise on Legio Mortis's part. But
Sure.
we all are in this fight together.
If you want, I can even take all my clothes off.
Well, that's part of the frisking, doll. We'll have to go for a nice swim, and Abigail will turn and just jump into the water. You guys are going to have to follow her if you want to keep it going.
Well, Stephanie will take his gun, which he doesn't want to get wet. Well, I'm not entirely sure how bad that is for a gun operator. But
yeah, a gun can get waterlocked, but you could also fix a waterlocked gun.
okay, then he will take the gun out and wait. Are we on a beach?
No, we're off like a harbor of sorts.
Okay.
Like, it's not. I don't. Oh, hold on. I should probably check the map. Do you remember what it looked like, Jacob?
Yeah, I can't pull up the map right now, but it's there's a little bit of a beach near the park, and there's a harbor also not too far away. What we could do, any firearms, because I have a pistol on me as well, we could put in her backpack and then stow her backpack in a dry spot for us before we head into the water.
Yeah, well, she already went into the water. I presume she has her backpack on.
Yeah, she definitely has her backpack on her.
Right,
Abigail will probably look up at you guys and say, you guys should be a little bit more equipped. Next time, bring some watertight baggies with you.
Okay, so when he just puts his gun down.
Oh.
And is there like okay, so
just take it into the water. Just take it.
You know what? If I can't fix it, I'll just replace it. So I don't care. I'll just go in the water.
okay, if we are on a dock or something, you'll just leave it there at the end.
Do you want to? Okay, wait. Do you want to look for a trash can? Maybe you could find a plastic bag in there that might help.
Yeah.
A roll investigation then. Roll
Put it
perception
underneath the trash can.
Let me see. Do we have investigation? No, we don't have investigation.
Okay.
So just straight perception.
Straight perception.
I think that would be a fail.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess it's on you. Throw it in the bushes, put it under the trash can.
Yeah, I'll just
put it under the bench that we were by. Well, no, we walked away.
Yeah.
Dig a hole.
I'll just try to do something quick, so put it in the bush. Presuming there are bushes there.
Yeah.
Just put it in the
That'll
bush.
probably be good, and then hopefully you can find it when you come back.
Yeah, then follow.
And Abigail starts swimming out into the water. Just swim-a-dim-dim out, not crazy far, probably maybe like 50 yards, because she doesn't want the current to be too crazy, but she also is just wanting to push off to the side to guarantee that there is absolutely no one being able to hear her or see them, maybe even. And when you guys get out to where she is, she's gonna hope that if you had any kind of electrical devices, that they would be fried, because water and electrical devices fucked. And she'll tell you guys where their haven is, where her and Bastian's haven is, very quietly while wading in the water. And she'll say, "Well, this is where we are. I will talk to Bastian and make sure that everything is okay. Bastian is really good at finding ways for us all to communicate, and he's an amazing asset, so he can help us in acquiring a better way for us to all talk to one another without compromising in the future.
Bastian is your packmate?
Bastian is my pack priest, and I trust him with my unlife.
Good. That's how it should be. Every Sabbath should be able to trust any other Sabbath with their unlife. That is the proper way.
And once you meet Bastian, Cerveni, you will know why I hold him in such high regard. Jagtier should know the feeling, personally.
It's a very honorable K-Knight.
A little quirky, very himself, likes to be naked, but very honorable.
It shows he has no secrets that he wishes to conceal with his clothes.
Abigail will splash some water at you and just laugh. So good. It is decided you will be staying with us until we figure this out, and I will speak to Brother Bastian about finding us all a brand new place to stay as well, and we will get this whole mess figured out with.
We need to be focused. We need to be strong. And if they've already started picking off, we need to unite these two fractured packs into one.
Brother, my fear has already come to life with that. We need to unite, seeing as you could not do this on your own. And I will take great joy, respect, loyalty, and pleasure in bringing you, and she'll look at Cervini, and even Mr. Sharkey into the pack. We could even do a proper renaming ceremony so that no one name is held higher than the other.
And,
that would be appropriate.
Sharky is another packmate.
He is a K-Knight. He is another K-Knight in the city who is there for the fight. Of course he will be joining. Why wouldn't he? And Abigail will give a little squinty eye towards Jagtier.
We appreciate your hospitality, Abigail.
This squinty eye, I want to make an empathy roll.
Go ahead.
Okay, rolling 7 dice, one of them good.
Oh, I'm gonna totally like friggin' sub for that. 1.
So
She's
it's
defender,
even.
so I don't. Yeah,
Who is the defender?
she's the defender.
Damn it, dice.
Well, Abigail, I appreciate your hospitality and the fact that you are making great efforts in upholding the code. It's much appreciated, and I have had very good dealings working with you in the past. So I will, with loyalty and respect, accept your invitation and allow Bastian to properly bless our competition to see who will become Ductus of our fused pack.
It will also seem we will need another challenge for priest, brother.
Well, no, potentially. I will just have the one challenge. I won't need to challenge twice.
You're going for Ductus then, I see, and you will see a large smile grow on Abigail's face.
Well, I think it would be proper for Tunatus to be leading this crusade in Kane's honor.
Abigail will swim close to you, grab you by the back of the head, and press her forehead to yours and say, I look forward to the challenge, brother.
And we'll have it properly blessed, so nothing informal right now.
Question. If you're
Yes.
both Nordists and I'm a Nordist, is this Bastion a Nordist too?
I am
Bastion
not a Nodist, Mr. Savini.
Oh, sorry, I just misunderstood since you said two Nordists leading
Yes.
the pack.
So
Yes,
myself
meaning
and Bastion.
him and Brother Bastian. Which I can see the logic behind, but you are aware there are those that are not Nodist in the pack and wouldn't want to be looked down upon.
Oh, I do not look down upon. Actually, I have quite a good track history with assisting others in attaining their goals, even if they do not follow the proper path.
I see. Well, just know that I have had no problems with my brothers thus far, them being Nodists, and me not, of course.
Well, if you're merging the packs, you'll probably need a new name.
Yes.
Well, that will be decided the night of the meshing, if everything goes smoothly. Usually the way the pack comes together is how the pack is named, in my book anyway.
Well, I was going to propose Dead Bastards.
And Abigail will raise a hand from under the water and just kind of rub her eyes for a second, and then look over at you, Servini, and then over at Jagtier and say, you guys sure like your names with the bastards in it, huh?
I think that if we're meshing two packs,
trying to bind two names.
Yes. So, Bastard Legion maybe might be something to consider, but we will have it as
Squad.
part. Exactly. Mortis
Why
Squad.
not even
Death Squad.
Death Squad is even better. I'm not too keen on the tongue of bastards, personally.
No problem. Then, yes, we shall gather to our new haven. I would suggest, since I am still technically priest of my pack, you are still technically ductus of your pack, I would suggest that we try to focus our recruits and current members in finding out who the men in white suits are and to find out more about that antique shop.
I completely agree with you.
You have to update me a little bit. What about the antique shop?
I'm suspecting a ghoul, but I don't know for sure. But there's definitely somebody who is in the know of Nodist artifacts that owns an antique shop that was doing a display of Etruscan findings, pottery.
Abigail's eyes will light up, and she will think of the lovely woman that she met there.
Do you think there are many Nodists in the Camarilla? Zero
I'm not
dots
sure.
in Camarilla lore.
Yeah, same with us. I would assume, as servants of the antediluvians, they would probably have quite a bit of knowledge on the matter. I'm actually hoping to find some artifacts in their havens as we ransack them.
Well,
Guys,
probably they
real
may
quick,
have...
Since we've been out here in the water for so long, I want to roll fate dice to see if any boats or anything have happened by of sorts. I do not want to make this too easy for us.
Okay.
There is a boat.
There's a boat. There's a boat approaching. And
then how far away when we notice? I should make a perception.
Yeah, I think we should all make a perception to see who would be the first one to notice and see how far out it might possibly be.
Okay, rolling alertness perception at -1 difficulty.
I got 110.
Come on, show up. What are you? I have 1 success.
Yeah.
Okay, I got 2 successes.
Jagtier, you got it. You're gonna notice it first.
Then I am going to
roll a d10 to see how far away it is, and we'll do that in yards.
Okay. Sure. Oh God, roll high.
Or like, okay, no, it would have to. Oh, yeah. All right, so it's wicked close. It must be a speeder boat. It's a speeder boat.
Yeah, it could be. Because what I was going to do was spend 2 points of blood and thicken the shadows around us. Since it's just basically our head and shoulders, I don't think I would actually need to enact the shroud separately for all 3.
Oh, I thought the problem was the boat hitting us, not people seeing us.
My problem was the boat seeing us, not it hitting us.
I was more concerned. So I'm going to use shadow play to block us from sight. We all made at least 1 success for alertness, so I think we could at the very least dive under the water as it goes by if it was close enough to hit us.
Yeah.
Right.
But I will. So sorry, guys, you can't see. But they can't see us either.
Wait.
That sounds perfect to me, though. I think that's great. Abigail, when she hears the boat too, she will, dunk her head under the water, but she'll try to do it smoothly so there's no sound. So maybe.
I got the sound muffled with my shadow play.
Oh, good stuff. And
Is it also muffled for us?
Yeah.
And then after the boat passes, Abigail, okay, this is compromised now too. We should just go back to the haven and discuss this more.
Head back. Exactly.
Yes, and do me a favor, gentlemen. Wiggle as much as you can to see if you've got anything stuck to your clothes that shouldn't be stuck there. Paranoia is setting in while I'm hanging out with you. I can't help it. And she will swim back towards shore.
Paranoia is healthy in our line of work.
Yes. When we get back to shore, I'm going to do a perception investigation.
Beautiful.
To check over myself and Cerveni for any surveillance gear. So we will leave that for storytellers to inform us if I find anything. And but I'm going to assume from previous experience that there's less likely to be something on us, just from the events that I've been doing in other scenes. So.
So, like I said, Abigail's paranoia is just set in from you guys,
for sure.
And the fact that there's only one, of the bastard squad left, some shit's going down.
Yes.
Well, at least I got rid of the cement dust in my pants.
Exactly. And which is really weird because out of our pack, I was the only one that was pissing off the elders. So again, you would have thought I'd be the one being picked off. But so once we get to shore, I'm going to pull the shadows in close to myself to enhance my stealth so that I can get there a little bit less noticeably.
Yeah, Abby will of course put her burqa on when she exits the water. when you guys both come up ashore, she will lead you guys on a very strange, confusing path that you even pass the same intersection 2 or 3 times, just in case people were following, to the Haven, where
And, and
where
before we leave, there, Sydney will take off his clothes and squeeze the water out so he doesn't leave 2 wet prints after him. So get the water out and then put his coat back on and get his gun.
all right, once everybody's acquired everything, again, you guys will go on that really long, arduous, it took way too long. You'll cross over the same intersection many times just to get to the Haven safely without being followed. And before she even gets to the block, I think I'll have her do a perception roll to see if she notices anything. Just the one. So maybe I'm good. And she'll bring you guys in, and from there, we can call it a scene.
I believe so, yeah. Unless there's anything you guys want to do. Once we get to the Haven, I will actually just kind of get settled in quickly, and then I actually am going to sneak off to do some hunting and come back. So
Cerveny will just stay in the Haven, I guess.
Cerveni and Jagtier, you'll notice when you walk into the Haven that it is very, very, very meticulously organized.
Okay.
That is all.
excellent.
Oh, and Cerveni, you will be meeting Wilbur when you walk in. It is a capybara who is Abigail's little friend. And the second Abigail walks into the door, this little capybara will be squealing, making all sorts of giddy, happy noises that she just walked in. And Abigail will simply just go, Cerveni, Wilbur, Wilbur, Cerveni. And we can end scene there.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just...
With a look on Cerveny's face, which is like, what the fuck?
And after changing, I am going to go hunt at my club that I am still working to try to set up as a domain. 2 successes. I will feed on 1 individual, enough to keep myself almost full and not leave 1 dead, because I'm trying not to leave a body trail. Not out of compassion, but out of necessity. And with that, dear friends, thanks for watching. We will see what befalls the fate of our 2 packs, soon to be 1 pack, in the Moroccan Nights as they investigate the fate of their fallen friends while still trying to strike at the enemy. In the meantime, Lofkain.